It's next. I'll see you again at 6.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Tonight, reporting from Washington, Sam Donaldson.
Good evening. The United Nations today released a disturbing report on Iraq's refusal to come clean about its dangerous weapons programs. A special UN commission says Baghdad's attitude towards ceasefire inspections continues to be one of obstruction and non-cooperation, particularly, says the commission, when it comes to its potential nuclear capability. This new finding ensures that UN-sponsored sanctions will remain in force, and it gives new urgency to the question of how long Iraq will be allowed to drag its feet. More on Iraq's obstructionism from ABC's John McWethy.
Though much of the nuclear hardware was destroyed during the war, the Iraqi brain trust that built the program, largely from scratch, was not. The effort was led by this man, Jafar Dia Jafar. What concerns UN and American officials now is that Jafar and his team are showing no signs that they regard themselves as out of business.
I must firmly request on behalf of the Special Commission.
In fact, at every turn, the Iraqi scientists have lied to UN inspectors about their efforts to build a nuclear bomb.
They seem to change their position with relative ease and admit to enrichment programs they previously denied, admit to a weapons program they previously denied, admit to a biological weapons program they previously denied, without really much difficulty, pain, or angst.
UN officials fear that Saddam Hussein will try to put this nuclear brain trust back into action if he can get the money to do so.
The combination of capital and this capability, human capabilities, can be quite potent.
After today's critical report from the UN Special Commission, it seems unlikely that the UN will allow Iraq to sell its valuable oil without restrictions anytime soon. But even if Saddam Hussein fails to get the money he needs, officials are concerned that the Iraqi scientists could go to work in another country that wants to secretly build a bomb, perhaps providing Iraq with part of what is produced. That was one reason so much effort was put into getting the personnel records of the Iraqi nuclear program, so everyone would know who the scientists are and whose careers must be followed in the years ahead, no matter where they go. John McWethy, ABC News, the State Department.
For Terry Anderson today, confirmation from doctors of what seemed fairly obvious when we first saw him last night. He came away from his almost 7 years as a hostage in very good physical condition. For all those years, Anderson's sister was the one who kept his name and all the others from being forgotten, which made this morning's reunion so meaningful. ABC's Jerry King is in Germany.
It was a reunion of pure joy. From Terry Anderson, an emotional embrace for Peggy Say, the sister who had fought so long and so hard for his freedom.
Fantastic, wasn't it? It's great to have a sister like that. You get yourself in trouble and she just comes along and gets you out.
Anderson posed for pictures with Joseph Sicipio and Alan Steen. Now that all the Americans are out, we're learning more about their ordeal. Steen, kicked by his captors, suffers from seizures and nerve damage. Sicipio, chained outside in winter, has frostbite. Frank Reed complains of problems with his head, feet, and ribs because of the beatings. And Father Lawrence Jenko says the physical abuse cost him 20% of his hearing. Last night on Nightline, Thomas Sutherland said the food, isolation, and mistreatment was so bad, he tried 3 times to commit suicide by pulling a plastic bag over his head.
But I found out on each try that it got very painful. And as it got more painful, the vision of my wife and 3 daughters appeared before me ever more clearly. And I decided each time, gee, I can't go through with this, and I would pull it off.
Not surprisingly, from Alan Steen today, bitterness toward the kidnappers.
They took 5 years out of my life. Unfortunately, I think they're going to probably get away with it.
But at least now, finally, for the Americans, the hostage ordeal is over. Jerry King, ABC News, Wiesbaden, Germany.
Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi said today his country will stop supporting so-called liberation movements which have turned terrorist. He didn't say which ones those are. Since 2 Libyans were indicted for the bombing of Pan Am 103, Libya has been trying to convince the world that it does not support terrorism. The Libyans went out of their way to try to make that point to ABC's Pierre Salinger.
This is Rapta, the plant where the United States says Libyans are still producing chemical weapons. In their apparent effort to show the West they do not pose such a threat, Libyan officials allowed us to photograph the plant extensively. Dr. Saeed Qassem runs what the Libyans still insist is a pharmaceutical plant. He told us that 80 to 90% of the facility has been rebuilt since a fire in March of last year, but he says it's still not operating. There are signs in the plant that there could have been a fire, although the CIA claims it was all a hoax to pretend that the plant had been destroyed. A CIA document distributed to European intelligence less than a month ago says the Libyans were still producing chemical weapons at Rapta.
Well, this is, of course, a talk of intelligence. I am a professional pharmacist. I don't know anything about this. They say whatever they like.
It is clear the Libyans fear this plant could be attacked by the West. Behind these walls are radar systems and anti-aircraft missiles. We were also encouraged to visit the Al-Qala camp, identified in this CIA document as the principal training facility in Libya for the terrorist Abu Nidal. It could have been a terrorist camp in the past. Now, by all appearances, it is a Palestinian refugee camp. There are 60 families and 150 children living in modest homes. The Libyans also wanted to tell us they were having nothing to do with the terrorist Carlos. They showed us passports indicating that Carlos had tried to enter Libya in September of this year with his wife and family and $1 million in cash. Libyan authorities claimed it was the 3rd time the government of Syria had tried to find a home in Libya for Carlos, but that he had been sent back. Libyan intelligence documents claim to identify the address and telephone number for Carlos in Damascus. There is no way of verifying whether the Libyans are telling us the truth about all this, but it is clear they are going out of their way to tell the world that they have changed their policy and are seeking to prove they are no longer a terrorist nation. Pierre Salinger, ABC News, Libya.
Coming up, defense lawyers question the woman who says she was raped by William Smith. The president names his transportation secretary to be his new chief of staff. And on the American agenda, a different approach to child care from the French.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, brought to you by Oldsmobile.
Power. Applied intelligently, its effects are magnificent. Witness the Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, powered by the world's largest 24-valve V6 engine and an electronic transmission. It's a car designed to provide a more intelligent standard of performance, measured not simply in miles per hour, but by a slightly different gauge, miles per gallon. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
People today are busier than ever. Do you ever think to ask Ace by phone? Yeah, call your helpful hardware folks ahead of time. They'll tell you what they need to know to be ready when you come in. Might save you an extra trip, or at least make one a quick one.
End of the line, John.
Ask Ace by phone.
Do your holiday shopping with the Discover card, and you'll not only give, you'll receive a cashback bonus for every charge. It pays to Discover.
In West Palm Beach, Florida, it's been a long day on the witness stand for the woman who says she was raped by William Smith. She finished testifying late this afternoon after spending the day answering questions from Smith's lawyers. ABC's Mark Potter is covering the trial.
Many times today, the alleged victim, whose face has been obscured by the courtroom camera, broke down under cross-examination by William Smith's attorney.
Why do you have to ask me questions like that?
Would you like to have a recess?
At other times, she appeared strong and combative.
And this is 12 hours after you say you were raped?
I was raped.
Defense attorney Roy Black attacked the woman for her repeated failure to remember events before and after the alleged rape.
You said you couldn't recall.
I have memory lapses regarding that night because I'd been raped.
He also tried to exploit what he sees as inconsistencies in the woman's testimony. For example, her walk on the beach with Smith before the alleged rape.
Did you ever sit down on the beach?
I don't recall doing that.
Did you ever roll around in the sand?
No.
A forensics expert is expected to testify that he found sand in the woman's underwear. Black also asked the woman about the alleged attack on the Kennedy estate lawn and how violent she says it was.
So you were slammed into the ground twice?
The first time he hit me from behind, and then he,
The first time you were actually running as fast as you can, is that right?
Yes.
And the second time is when you were already on the ground and he slams you back on the ground?
Yes.
But more than anything, Black tried to show that it was impossible for a rape to have occurred as she said. He referred to the woman's statement to police that William Smith was unable to maintain an erection.
Your description of it is that you have your right arm pinned, right? You have your left arm pinned, right?
And my right arm is pinned between his chest and my chest, and his
pushing down on you?
Yes, sir.
At the same time, he can pull up your dress, he can hold your panties aside, and he can enter you without being able to obtain an erection.
He raped me.
But in later questioning, the prosecutor had the woman explain how she says Smith was physically able to rape her.
Was his erection sufficient for him to enter your body?
Yes.
The defense attorney was unable to significantly undermine her account. The question is, did he set the stage for other witnesses and other testimony that might cast reasonable doubt upon her version of events? Mark Potter, ABC News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
The late Robert Maxwell's financial empire is near collapse tonight. In New York, the Daily News has filed for bankruptcy protection so as to keep publishing while it holds off its creditors. In London, his huge private company is now in receivership, and British authorities say nearly $1 billion in company money disappeared in the weeks before Maxwell died a month ago. When we come back, Mr. Skinner moves to the White House.
A cold always starts small, but before you know it, your cold is full grown. That's when you need Dimetapp. If it was any stronger, you'd need a prescription. Dimetapp Extend tabs work for 12 full hours. It's the way to relieve the congestion and sneezing of a full-grown cold. Maximum strength Dimetapp Extend tabs. Relief for the full-grown cold. And for colds and flu with fever, now there's Dimetapp Cold and Flu.
I live in the country, where everything tastes a little sweeter and a little fresher. Maybe that's what I like best about these Sunsweet pitted prunes. I can taste all that goodness in Sunsweet.
Norelco says don't shave your legs, baby them. With Norelco's incredibly close, comfortable shave that leaves you baby smooth, baby soft. Norelco Lady Shave Razors, dry or wet, we make close comfortable.
Red Lobster shrimp. Do you love it icy cold? Or the scampi sizzling hot? Do you crave it golden fried? Or dripping with our new honey barbecue sauce? During our holiday shrimp days, you'll find 8 special shrimp dinners. How about new lemon broiled shrimp, together with new honey barbecue shrimp, just $7.99. Now at Red Lobster. And for holidays at home, party platters to go, ready in just 1 hour.
President Bush moved quickly today to name a new White House chief of staff, and apparently spurred to action by his declining popularity ratings, moved up his timetable for announcing key members of his re-election team. Details from White House correspondent Britt Hume.
On the surface, Mr. Bush was just making some personnel announcements, but his news conference contained the outlines not just of a reshuffled team, but also of a political approach for the campaign ahead. The new chief of staff replacing John Sununu is Transportation Secretary Samuel Skinner, a former Chicago federal prosecutor with a take-charge style. Skinner, unlike the conservative and abrasive Sununu, is considered moderate and likable.
As a member of our cabinet, he's demonstrated the leadership skills necessary to guide our staff, work with the Congress, coordinate my activities with the new campaign organization.
That campaign will be headed by Texan Robert Mosbacher, now Commerce Secretary and a longtime Bush friend and fundraiser. Mr. Bush blamed his steep decline in opinion polls on the stalled economy, but insisted he would still be able to run on the classic question, are you better off now than 4 years ago?
And I'm quite confident by the time this election is held, this economy will be much, much better. And in many ways, I could answer that affirmatively right now. because of world peace and because of a lot of things.
The president said he would use his State of the Union address next month to urge on Congress a new economic growth plan, election year or not.
And take it right to the American people and say to Congress, now look, let's just get this done fast, and then you can keep on attacking me, and you can bet your neck I'll be out there attacking you.
The president, of course, does not really expect the Democrats in Congress to rush through an economic plan, which he acknowledges will be based on measures they've already rejected. But if they don't and the economy doesn't improve, the president will at least have someone beside himself to blame, or to try to. Britt Hume, ABC News, the White House.
On Capitol Hill, the Democrats are trying to make certain it's the president who'll take the blame. They began a series of hearings on the economy today. The administration's top 3 economic advisors, led by Treasury Secretary Nicholas Brady, said they expect the economy to remain sluggish until the spring. The chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, Dan Rostenkowski, said everything he's heard from the Republicans would add billions of dollars to the deficit. The first major look at how the economy was doing last month will come tomorrow, when the government releases unemployment figures for November. A clue today that it could be bad news. For just the 1 week before Thanksgiving, the number of Americans filing first-time claims for unemployment insurance shot up by 57,000. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrials lost another 22.5 points today to close at 2889. The trading was moderate. When we come back, the American Agenda.
This is regular. This is better. This Bayer is regular, but for headaches, Anacin is better. This is regular. This is better. This Bufferin is regular, but for headaches, Anacin is better. What makes Anacin better? It's simple. Regular Bayer and Bufferin have 1 ingredient for pain, but Anacin has 2 ingredients, an effective pain medicine plus a second ingredient that makes Anacin work better. For headache relief, get Anacin. Get better.
Take some vegetables and presto salad shooter.
Shoot some slices salad shooter.
Point and shoot right into stir fry or casserole.
Shoot some shreds salad shooter.
For hash browns or coleslaw.
Shoot it fast, shoot it neat, shoot it pretty salad shooter.
Presto salad shooter slicer shredder. Clean up easy, dishwasher safe. Small enough to store anywhere. Great salads and much, much more.
Salad shooter.
Original, cordless, rechargeable, and professional salad shooter.
Buick introduces the new Supercharged Ultra for 1992. With 20% more power. 205 horsepower to be exact. Ultra truly ranks among the world's finest luxury performance sedans. The new 1992 Supercharged Ultra from Buick. The new symbol for quality in America.
Now on video for a limited time.
You're not gonna believe what I got you. Take. Look, it's Fantasia. It's just for you. Well, all right, maybe not just for you. I mean, I gotta tell you, it's magic. That's right. Mickey, yeah. Between you and me, this was our only chance to get it, and I didn't want you to miss it.
Walt Disney's masterpiece, Fantasia. It's the perfect holiday gift.
Well, of course I got it for you. I'm your dad. Fantasia is ours forever.
We've put children on the American agenda again tonight to further look at how differently the U.S. and France meet the problem of providing child care. In the U.S., health and welfare programs are generally targeted at the poor. In France, all families, rich and poor, share in a wide variety of benefits. The price tag is high, but so is the quality of what they receive. Our agenda reporter is Carol Simpson.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning in Coucaron, a middle-class suburb of Paris. Most parents are on their way to work. Many of their children, like 5-month-old Cynthia, are already happy and secure in daycare. French parents have what few American parents have: high-quality daycare at low cost, no matter what their income. That's because daycare is regulated and subsidized by the French government. 5 decades ago, with more and more women entering the labor force, France began instituting family support programs, including daycare and preschools. The country made a national commitment to produce healthy, educated children and productive working parents. Perhaps President Mitterrand put it best. He said France will be strong in its families and will blossom in its children. At this daycare center, there are 60 children, aged 3 months to 3 years. For every 3 to 4 toddlers, there is one caregiver who has received professional training in early childhood development.
Parents feel safe about leaving their kids here. They feel they have not abandoned their kid during the day. They have given their kids to some deeply dedicated professionals.
But the French government cannot meet the growing demand for large centers like these, so it offers parents a variety of alternative child care arrangements, again at low cost. One alternative allows parents to run their own center. Under this cooperative arrangement, the town provides space and staff, and the parents give time. Another option is family daycare. Providers are licensed by the government after careful background checks and allowed to take only 3 children into their homes. The parents and the government share the cost of the caregiver's salary, vacations, and benefits. There is even childcare for mothers who stay home with their children. This is a place where parents can, for a modest cost, drop their children off on an occasional basis while they take care of personal business.
For everybody, this exists. Whether you're working or not, whether you need it or not, it's here.
Between the ages of 3 and 6, children attend free public nursery schools. Although not required to, virtually all parents send their children to preschool.
Nicolas, tu veux aller montrer ton nom?
Teachers are university trained, and their emphasis is on getting children ready for first grade.
You have to teach them how to express themselves. You have to teach them how to behave socially, not to push the others, to respect an order, to respect a classroom.
Staff teachers and pediatricians work together to identify and treat any physical, mental, and emotional problems that might interfere with a child's ability to learn. The French system works so well that several American organizations are working to implement a similar national daycare policy in the United States. The biggest barrier seems to be cost. But the French, with enviable results, have demonstrated their national will to spend whatever it takes to care for their children. Carol Simpson, ABC News, Coucaron, France.
We'll have our final report in a moment.
Grandma's got a date. What's a date? That's when you hug someone.
Closeness. You might hesitate if you wore a diaper. So Johnson & Johnson created Serenity Guards, bladder-controlled protection so advanced it holds as much as something 5 times its size and stays dry, locking liquid in.
Grandma, are you gonna hug him? Hug me.
Give yourself hugs for discovering Serenity. Now announcing Super Plus Absorbency.
If your doctor has recommended Metamucil and you like the results, but you don't like those glasses of thick liquid, change to FiberCon. Get the same fiber action in easy-to-swallow tablets. Get doctor-recommended FiberCon.
I was a dedicated beard wearer until my wife gave me the new Remington Microscreen Elite. It's quick. It's close. The Remington Microscreen Elite has 2 ultra-thin screens. So comfortable, shaves as close as a blade or your money back. That's Remington.
This Christmas, you can send a beautiful gift without ever having to leave home. The FTD Season's Greetings Bouquet. It's highly recommended by the one big guy who should know.
It's as easy as FTD.
There's never been a better time to buy a mink.
A group of Tennesseans is banding together to fight the state sales tax. And if coffee is a favorite, tonight's Consumer Corner may have just what you need. I'm Ann Holt. Channel 2 News at 6 is next.
Finally tonight, yes, Pearl Harbor, an anniversary the Japanese devoutly wish would just go away. It's ironic. The United States, whose military forces suffered a tremendous defeat at Pearl Harbor 50 years ago, is putting a lot of effort into commemorating the anniversary. The Japanese, for whom Pearl Harbor was a major victory, would just as soon ignore the whole thing. ABC's Bill Redeker reports from Tokyo tonight on why.
At the Yasukuni Shrine for War Heroes in Tokyo, veterans of the Imperial Navy pray for those who were killed in World War II. To many Japanese, Pearl Harbor was just another battle. But they dread the finger-pointing that will come with the anniversary.
If we keep harping about this, we will not be able to gain each other's trust.
If we keep hounding each other, we'll never get along.
Because of U.S. memories of Pearl Harbor, few subjects here have caused more anxiety. This newspaper headline says, 50 years since Pearl Harbor, re-emergence of the nightmare. Japanese fear a new round of Japan bashing.
Nowhere is that fear greater than in the corporate boardrooms of Tokyo, where they worry that dredging up Pearl Harbor memories will bring new calls for protectionist measures against Japanese businesses. As a result, many Japanese advertisers want no part of extensive American media plans to commemorate the anniversary.
Only from the mind of Minolta.
Minolta's ad agency strongly advised executives not to sponsor any Pearl Harbor television or magazine coverage. So this holiday commercial will not air on the night of December 7th.
It's from Minolta.
It will be very disrespectful to place advertisements urging people to buy Japanese products.
It is the same with other companies here. Sony, Kawasaki, Honda, and Sharp have all decided not to advertise in any weekly news magazines or TV programs that feature the Pearl Harbor anniversary. American advertising executives say it makes sense.
If the Japanese were doing a commemorative show on Hiroshima or Nagasaki, American companies who are advertising Japan would probably have second thoughts about whether they should be featured as a sponsor in those kinds of shows.
In Japan, there will be no Pearl Harbor ceremonies, no public observances. Government officials have even told Japanese journalists to ease off on anniversary coverage. When Keiichi Miyazawa, the new prime minister, was asked recently whether Japan should apologize, he said he couldn't say, couldn't even speak about it. His political advisors then cut in and asked that both the question and answer be deleted. A perfect illustration of how, in Japan, December 7th, 1991 is a date that lives in anxiety. Bill Redeker, ABC News, Tokyo.
Don't forget, later this evening, David Brinkley will host an ABC News special, Pearl Harbor, 2 hours that changed the world. It begins at 9 Eastern, 8 Central Time. And that's our report on World News Tonight. I'm Sam Donaldson. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
And now, the news continues with Channel 2 News.